Hello, welcome to English Lessons with Inlingua Vancouver. My name is Jacob, and today I would like to discuss although and despite with you. And these two words are quite similar because they often serve the same function. They're meant to show contrast in ideas, and therefore it can lead to confusion. For example, although YouTube can be a useful tool, many people waste their time on it. Despite its utility, many people do waste their time on YouTube, right? You can say things like, although climate change is a genuine threat, many people continue to ignore the issue. Despite the dangers associated with climate change, many people continue to ignore the threat. So it seems that they're almost the same. But if you look at them more carefully, you will see that there's a slight grammatical distinction, how we structure it in a sentence. Here I have for you two very simple examples. Although Vancouver is a rainy city, I love living here. Despite the rain, I love living here. Right? Or despite the rain in Vancouver, I love living here. Or despite the rain, I love living in Vancouver. The point is, despite is simply followed by a noun. Often that noun is specified, so we say the rain, despite the pain, despite the problem, despite the issue, and then the rest of the sentence. However, with although, you have a full sentence. You have a subject and you have a verb. Although Vancouver is a rainy city, so this clause is a complete clause, it's an independent clause as a subject and a verb, but it's subordinated because of although. So although Vancouver is a rainy city, I love living here. Despite the rain, I love living here. That's it. So you reduce that independent clause into this noun phrase. Of course, sometimes you hear sentences like, despite the fact that Vancouver is a rainy city, I love rain, I love living here. Despite the fact that climate change is a serious threat, many people continue to ignore it. And that really sounds like although. And there I want you to remember that it's not an exception. It's simply the fact that when you say the fact, that's just like the rain. And then by adding the clause that gives your, shall we say, your sentence a new life. So you can actually put your full subject and verb there. So just remember, if you say despite the fact that, and that opens your hand, and you can put on the full sentence. So you can say, despite the fact that Vancouver is a rainy city, I love living here. I also want to add that it doesn't have to always be the word fact. Despite the knowledge that industrial activity is bringing about climate change, many countries continue to develop their fossil fuel resources. So despite that knowledge, we're not doing anything about climate change, right? Or I can say, despite the news that the government is no longer able to meet its budgetary needs, the Prime Minister has decided to give the population a tax break. So despite the knowledge, despite the fact, despite the noun that, and then you can put a full sentence. But if you don't say despite the fact that, or despite the knowledge that, or despite the rule that, if you're not going to do that, then you can only just put a noun. Despite the rain, I love living here. Although Vancouver is a rainy city, I love living here. Oh, and of course, how could I forget? There's also in spite of. Now, I'm sure some English teachers at home are going to start cringing, but I'm going to say it. In spite of and despite are the same. Now, before you get all excited and start leaving hateful comments, just wanted to point out that yes, in British RP, there used to be a distinction. There may still be a distinction in British English, I'm not sure. But as far as I know, and what I've seen in North American textbooks, what I've seen in the media, the way I see English speakers use it today, we really don't pay attention to that distinction anymore. And I believe the distinction was in spite of ing, despite noun. But it doesn't matter. If 300 million Americans and Canadians don't think there's a difference between in spite of and despite, I don't think students should worry about it too much. So for all practical purposes, in spite of and despite are the same. They can be followed by a noun or a noun clause, whereas although can be followed by a full sentence. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you have any more questions, please leave them below. Subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you again. Have a great day.